I know you guys don't want to hear this. You think it's a grand conspiracy. You think all 32 owners got into a room and singled out one player and one player only. Again,
I told you my theories on that before.
I think that's fan fiction. I think you sound silly. I think you just got to get over it and admit the process was screwed up. He botched the entire thing. And now, who cares? He's got an amazing opportunity to start for one of the 32 NFL teams. And you should be feeling blessed that he's even in that position for a 5th-round pick that also played as poorly as he did last year. That's an amazing opportunity that Shedeur Sanders has. You'll see Shedeur is going to be the one guy to emerge. Maybe he will. But right now, it's not looking great. It has not been off to a good start in his NFL career.
Cleveland Browns insiders are being exposed after disrespecting Shedeur Sanders before camp, and now some fans believe the organization is quietly keeping receipts. Browns insiders are being called out after months of criticism towards Shedeur Sanders, and according to Garrett Bush, the team may already know exactly who's been pushing the narratives behind the scenes. What started as simple criticism has now turned into a full-blown controversy inside Cleveland. Because just weeks before training camp, the media members who doubted Shedeur the loudest are suddenly changing their tone, and fans think that's no coincidence. So what really happened behind closed doors? And why does it feel like the Browns may have finally had enough?
He was patting the ball.
Yeah.
Remember that was such a big storyline with Shedeur and his pro day?
Oh, how could I forget?
Massive storyline. And so they're like, Fernando Mendoza's patting the ball. Those are all going to get picked off. He's taking too much time. Why are you guys not saying Fernando Mendoza's going to go in the 5th round, Chris?
Yeah, Chris. Don't look at
What,
me.
Chris?
Chris? I say it's fair from the sense of, like, yeah, we made way too big a deal of Shedeur doing it.
The patting the ball you're saying.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Now the entire Browns media is under fire, because what started as simple criticism has turned into fans accusing certain insiders of trying to destroy Shedeur's image before he even got a fair shot. And according to Garrett Bush, some people inside the Browns organization may already know exactly who's behind it. But to understand why this controversy has exploded so badly, when the Browns drafted Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round of the 2025 NFL Draft, the football world was stunned. Not because Cleveland drafted him, but because he had fallen so far in the draft to begin with. This was a quarterback many analysts once projected much higher, yet Cleveland managed to land him with the 144th overall pick after trading up. Browns GM Andrew Berry later said the team believed Sanders was mispriced relative to the draft.
You always want to be flexible because you don't know how circumstances change or what opportunities come your way. Our lean would be if we do add someone to the quarterback room, you know, it would be someone who's a younger player most likely. But I can't state that definitively because I don't know what the next couple of weeks will hold. Anyone that we bring in at any spot on the roster, you know, our thought is that they are competing. They're competing to play. They have something that we like in their skill set, and our expectation would be for them to work hard at.
And that he could outproduce his draft slot. To Browns fans, it felt like a steal. To Shedeur supporters, it felt like the perfect revenge story waiting to happen. But to many people in the media, it felt like doubt came before excitement. Every little thing he did became a story. Every throw in practice was analyzed. Every mechanical flaw was magnified. Every criticism became a headline. Meanwhile, other quarterbacks across the league were getting patience, development time, and benefit of the doubt. But Shedeur? He was expected to prove himself instantly. And even though Browns owner Jimmy Haslam praised Sanders' off-season work ethic, saying he spent much of the winter in Cleveland and that his dedication showed how serious he is about becoming an NFL quarterback, some insiders continued doubting him. Shedeur himself said, "My job here isn't to prove people wrong, it's to prove myself right." This wasn't just a rookie under pressure. This was a war between perception and potential. And for some media insiders, it became personal. And that's where Garrett Bush's voice cuts through the noise, calling out hypocrisy, highlighting backhanded criticism, and setting the stage for what would become one of the most controversial pre-camp narratives in Browns history. The trigger came quietly at first. Small comments, passing remarks, a critical tweet here, a dismissive headline there. But according to Garrett Bush, it quickly escalated into full disrespect towards Shedeur Sanders, long before he ever threw his first NFL pass in camp. Bush revealed how certain media members were sly and backhanded in their reporting, constantly questioning Sanders' ability while giving other quarterbacks a pass. The first major spark came during discussions of Shedeur's pro day. Analysts criticized minor details, like how he patted the ball, claiming it would lead to interceptions. But Bush questioned why similar flaws in other quarterbacks weren't considered newsworthy. Why were only Sanders' actions amplified? The conflict turned public when fans noticed a growing double standard. Social media lit up with posts defending Shedeur, asking why criticism seemed personal. Meanwhile, Browns front office members were noticing the pattern too. Bush suggested Andrew Berry and other leaders were growing tired of repetitive negative narratives. Then came the first shockwave. Insiders started reacting to Bush's critique. Some media figures began softening their stance on Sanders, almost as if they realized fans and front office eyes were watching. This was the first clear sign of a rift. Media insiders versus the Browns organization, with Shedeur caught in the middle. It wasn't just about football anymore. It was about accountability, fairness, and influence. Fans began taking sides, and every comment, report, or story about Sanders became a litmus test for loyalty. By this point, the controversy had fully escalated. Social media exploded. Fans shared clips of Bush calling out insiders for disrespect. They dissected tweets, posts, and reports, noting a clear pattern of double standards. Bush's statements made it worse for the critics. They've got the names. They've got the evidence. They know who's leaking information. The public reaction wasn't subtle. Fans began naming media personalities who had been critical, accusing them of agenda-driven reporting. Comments flooded forums, YouTube videos, and fan groups, questioning the credibility of those voices. Even some insiders appeared to panic. Bush highlighted how a few of the loudest skeptics suddenly softened their criticism or claimed neutrality. Some fans believed these business decisions were attempts to save face before camp. The escalation reached a point where Shedeur Sanders' rookie season potential became secondary to the media controversy. Every throw in practice, every minor mistake, every improvement became fuel for debate online. It became clear, this wasn't just a quarterback debate. This was a war of narratives, with Shedeur as both target and symbol. The fallout hit hard. Access restrictions reportedly went into effect. Emails went unanswered. Insider reports suggest some members of Browns media were quietly being frozen out. Fans began celebrating this as a victory for Sanders, interpreting it as Cleveland protecting their young quarterback from unfair criticism. Some critics tried to downplay it, claiming nothing had changed, but the public didn't buy it. Backlash against media figures grew. Analysts who previously doubted Shedeur faced scrutiny. Social media threads dissected every past story, highlighting inconsistencies and hypocrisy. Meanwhile, Sanders quietly prepared for camp, seemingly unaffected by the noise. But the stakes were higher. He wasn't just proving himself on the field. He was proving that unfair criticism could be overcome. The Browns front office sent subtle signals too. GM Andrew Berry's curt responses to repeated media questions suggested frustration and a desire to protect his quarterback. Fans interpreted this as the organization officially standing behind Sanders and rejecting divisive narratives. Truth is rarely clear in sports controversies. Bush continued calling out double standards, emphasizing how critics failed to treat Sanders fairly. He noted that media narratives often ignore context, development, and potential in favor of clicks. But Sanders' preparation and mindset spoke louder than headlines. His dedication in off-season workouts, early reports from coaches, and player support created a counter-narrative that was impossible to ignore. Shedeur Sanders now enters Cleveland with every eye on him. Coaches, teammates, media, and fans alike. Every throw, every decision, every practice rep will be scrutinized. But he isn't the same player the media predicted would fail. The controversy has already shaped his rookie journey. It has highlighted double standards, exposed media bias, and brought accountability into a spotlight rarely seen in NFL coverage. And here's the ultimate question. If Shedeur thrives, who looks more exposed? The rookie everyone doubted, or the insiders who misread the future of this franchise? Fans are ready to witness history, because this isn't just about football. It's about reputation, respect, and redemption. Subscribe for the latest Browns updates and NFL controversies, because this story is far from over.